Right, it's the international break at the moment, so I thought, obviously being England, we'll have a look at the England squad that's been revealed by Thomas Tuchel. Then I'll have my own little lineup, and then obviously have my thoughts on the squad and who I would have included, who I would have took out. We'll go with the lineup that we have based on the current squad, and then we'll have some little predictions as to how we think we'll get on in our matches against Andorra and Serbia. Let's get into it. So yeah, as you guys can see on the your right hand side there, that's the squad that we currently have. Well, some of them have been withdrawn. So the likes of John Stones and Adam Wharton have withdrew for injury reasons, I believe. I know it is for John Stones. I'm not too sure on Adam Wharton. But we've got Dean Henderson, Jordan Pickford, and James Trafford. Of course, Dean Henderson and Trafford will most likely not play. Well, more so Trafford, I'd imagine, because he's just there for third choice keeper reasons. Then we've got Dan Burn, Mark Guehi, Reece James, Ezri Konza, Lewis Skelly, Livramento, Jed Spence, and now Jarell Kwanzaa has replaced John Stones in the squad. In midfield, we have what was I going to say? Joachim. I'm thinking of the Fulham guy. But yeah, Elliot Anderson, Morgan Gibbs White, Jordan Henderson is somehow getting called up still. Mental. I mean, I love Hendo, but I just don't get it. Declan Rice, Morgan Rogers, and then Ruben Loftus-Cheek has replaced Adam Wharton in the squad. So this is the first time Loftus-Cheek's been in the squad since, I believe, since the 2018 World Cup. Yeah, that was a long, long time ago. Yeah, and the forward line, we've got Jared Bowen, Eze, Gordon, Kane, Madueke, Rashford, and Ollie Watkins. So overall, I think it's a pretty decent squad, I have to admit. It should be enough for us to be able to beat Andorra. Maybe it might struggle a bit against Serbia, but of course the most notable absentees there are Jude Bellingham, who's obviously out injured at the minute. Palmer's out injured. Saka's injured. So yeah, and of course, like I've already mentioned, Stones is pulled out of the squad with an injury, as is Adam Wharton. So yeah, but it's a bit of a odd. I mean, it should be enough to beat Andorra, and then we should be able to beat Serbia as well. But of course, we're seeing in the Euros last year that Serbia are no easy team to beat. They're no easy team to beat, and yeah, we might have our hands full against them, but I imagine we'll still be able to beat them. Now, let's get into my lineup. Okay, so I've currently marked out the positions where I feel like they're pretty much nailed on as to who's going to start. And obviously, Jordan Pickford's going to start in goal. Well, especially for the first game. Then Reece James will be at right back, I believe. He has had a good start to the season with Chelsea, and maybe, just maybe, Reece James has put the injuries behind him, but that will always be a little question mark hanging over his head. Mark Guehi, he's going to be one of the starting centre-backs, 100%. I mean, he got that field transfer to Liverpool on deadline day, but even then he's still been absolutely rock solid for Crystal Palace. Declan Rice will be one of the holding midfielders because, yeah, Tuchel does like to play a 4-2-3-1. So, yeah, I reckon Declan Rice will be one of the starters. I mean, pretty much is. He's one of the first names on the team sheet. And then, of course, Harry Kane leading the line. Now, of course, there's a few spots up for grabs. Originally, I would have put, obviously, John Stones next to Guehi, but I only found out, like, a few minutes before this recording that Stones had pulled out. So, it's a bit of a toss-up now. I mean, you could potentially go with, like, you could put Dan Burn in there. You could put, like, say, Konza in there. But I have decided to go with Ezri Konza of Aston Villa. Yes, he can obviously provide cover at right back as well, but we do have the likes of Jed Spence in the squad, so I feel like that's pretty much well covered. And if Reece James wasn't playing for whatever reason, oh, I forgot to mention another big absentee is Grealish. Yeah, he should have been included in this squad. I feel like I would have took out Rashford for Grealish, in my personal opinion, because I don't think Rashford has done enough yet at Barca to really justify being in the England squad. But it is what it is. I would have put in Grealish. Dewsbury Hall could have been a little outside shout as well. But the main one, obviously, Trent. He's been left out, but he hasn't really done much at Madrid. Kind of similar situation with Rashford. Trent hasn't really set the world alight at Real Madrid yet. He's looked a bit suspect. I can't lie. But yeah, anyway, Ezri Konza, I'd say he starts alongside Mark Guehi. I feel like them two as a partnership would be quite solid. And then at left back, you could play Jed Spence there. Dan Burn could potentially play there as well if you wanted a bit more of a physical presence, even though I personally believe Dan Burn is absolute dog crap. But I've decided to go with Livramento. Yeah, he can provide good cover on that left-hand side. I mean, he could even play on the right back as well. So yeah, versatility is a key thing here with this squad, and yeah, this back four is quite versatile. I mean, other than Guehi, because obviously he's like suited to that centre back position, but yeah, Konza can play at right back. Reece James can push a bit further forward if needed. Livramento can cover either side of the fullback position. So yeah, it's a nice bit of versatility. Now, as to who I think will start alongside Declan Rice, it's a bit of a toss-up. You could maybe just go with Jordan Henderson and be like, yeah, we'll just go with that. But I personally went with Ruben Loftus-Cheek. I know it might be a bit of an outside shout, and having him on like a holding midfield role alongside Declan Rice probably isn't suited to his game. But I feel like Loftus-Cheek, I mean, Rice will most likely be the holder, even though he doesn't really do that much for Arsenal. But I imagine the both of them, especially against Andorra, if this was like the midfield pairing, that Loftus-Cheek and Rice would be able to push up quite a bit because we would dominate the ball 100%. And yeah, I imagine they'll be more like box to box instead of being holding midfielders. But if this was the midfield two against Serbia, I don't know how that would go. But of course, time would tell if Loftus-Cheek did start. And then for the attacking positions, just behind Harry Kane, you could have a whole host of options. Eze's potentially could come in there. Anthony Gordon. But I've decided on the left-hand side, I've gone with Morgan Rogers. Yeah, it's been a pretty slow start of the season for Aston Villa, I can't lie, but with obviously not really many, because of course Saka's out at the minute, and then of course you've got like Foden not in the squad. Rashford hasn't really set the world alight at Barca yet. So yeah, you could potentially argue that you could maybe play Gordon there, or maybe even Rashford if you're feeling like it, but I've decided to go with Rodgers. I just feel like he's the better pick in that sense. Through the middle, I've gone with Morgan Gibbs-White of Nottingham Forest. Again, Nottingham Forest looking like they're going to have a decent season, but of course time will tell once the Europa League gets underway whether they'll be able to manage all that. But Gibbs-White looking pretty solid still. And yeah, it was really close between him and Eze, I have to admit. Really, really close between him and Eze, but I've just gone with Gibbs-White purely because Eze can cover on the left-hand side if needed. So I've just gone with Gibbs-White. And then on the right-hand side, I feel like it was a bit tough to decide, but then once Saka wasn't in, I felt like it was pretty easy. Jarrod Bowen will start for me on the right-hand side. In that right midfield, right wing position, whatever you want to call it. You could potentially go with Madueke, but I feel like, obviously, even though West Ham have looked absolutely pitiful so far this season, Bowen has been still pretty solid for them. Looked like one of their only shining lights, to be brutally honest. Him and Lucas Paqueta looking like the only reasons why West Ham could potentially be able to survive, but of course time will tell in that sense. But yeah, I think Bowen is definitely the better choice out of him and Madueke, just purely because he gets the game time, he gets decent numbers every season. So yeah, I've gone with Bowen. And I think with this lineup, I think it's pretty solid. Of course, the real debate is, would Loftus-Cheek be able to manage alongside Declan Rice in that holding midfield? But I feel like it would manage, especially against the opponents that were playing. Of course, Andorra, they aren't the strongest. Serbia, there might be a few questions asked here and there, but I feel like this team could do the good job. Now let's get into the predictions. So yeah, like I mentioned, our first match up against Andorra is tomorrow night as of the time we're recording this at 5 p.m. UK time. We'll be playing at Villa Park, which is a bit interesting, but I suppose we'll have a tour of England, why not, with these World Cup qualification rounds. But yeah, if we go with the lineup that I've shown just previously, I feel like we should be able to beat Andorra. If we're being brutally honest, I mean, they're ranked 174th in the world. We're ranked 4th. We should be beating these pretty comfortably. Even if we put the kids out, we should be able to beat Andorra comfortably because, yeah, I gotta be honest with you guys, I couldn't really name a single Andorran player, to be fair. So I believe we will win this. I'll say 3-0. We'll win this 3-0. But in the other match against Serbia, if I just load that up. Oh, I've gone the wrong way. Wait, hang on. If I just find the match against Serbia, there it is. We're actually away to Serbia, so that could be a bit of a challenge. We're ranked 32nd in the world. Of course, our previous meeting against Serbia in the Euros last year, we only just about won that game 1-0. That all came from a Jude Bellingham goal. And yeah, and some amazing saves from Jordan Pickford as well. But yeah, we know Serbia are going to be pretty tough, and if if we look at the team that they have at the moment, I mean, I don't know if this is their actual up-to-date squad, but Petrovic at Bournemouth, very solid goalkeeper. And yeah, if we look at it, Milenkovic as well, Nottingham Forest centre-back, he's quite a very good defender as well. Then we've got Kostic. Yeah, they got a decent squad here. Gudelj of Sevilla. Yeah, they do have themselves a pretty decent squad, Serbia. Of course, Vlahovic, I imagine, Mitrovic is in here. Of course, he's now went I think, the Dubai League. So yeah, they've got themselves a decent squad, Serbia. And yeah, they always seem to be a bit of a difficult customer whenever we play them. But yeah, I still do think we will have enough to beat Serbia, but it might be marginal. I think I'll go with a 2-1 win against Serbia. I feel like Kane will get back to his best and start scoring more goals. And I also feel like maybe we could see the odds. We could see a surprise goal. Like maybe we might see a Rice free kick again, like what he did against Real Madrid last season. Or maybe we could see like I don't know, maybe like a Ezri Konsa score or Guehi. That'd be quite nice to see. But yeah, that's where we're going to leave this video for today, guys. Hope you have enjoyed it. If you have, feel free to give the video a like and subscribe to the channel if you're new. Thank you for watching, and I might potentially be live for the Andorra game, and maybe the Serbia game if we get a good reception for it. But yeah, we'll see. But yeah, thank you all for watching, and I might potentially see us for some watch-alongs of these games. Fingers crossed we can qualify for the World Cup. I mean, I say that, but we're going to qualify. But yeah, thank you for watching, and I'll see you for the next one.